How's it going? This is Ethan Reyes. Today I'll be talking about why the prices of college tuition should be reduced. This is a very big issue here in the United States. We have some schools that go for $80,000 a semester. I mean, not a semester, a year, and it's very hard for families. I mean, some obviously can afford it, but majority it's very hard because we don't have everyone who's in the very upper class. We have upper class, middle class, lower class, and it makes it hard for people towards the middle and lower class to pay for colleges like that for their kids. They have to pull out money out of nowhere, and it's very hard. And I feel like it's very we don't need to be paying that much money for college, for an education. This is for a job. This is for future. This is for people who are going to change this world, and it should never be that high. But we'll be talking about like the concerns regarding the affordability and accessibility of higher education. This is sparked by skyrocketing costs of college tuition, and the value of college is going up, and it's very complex to have to pay for this much of schooling. For me, it's a lot easier because I'm on a scholarship for baseball, but it's not the same for everyone else. People have to pay, actually. And I'm blessed to be in the situation that I'm in. But I also don't agree with the people who have to pay all this money just to attend school to do what they want to do in the future. I feel that should be very accessible to people without having to do all that and pay all that. But for my first visual representation, this is like a protest. And they're basically saying they want to abolish tuition. It's very unnecessary. I feel like it shouldn't have to be a thing, really. I feel like people should be able to go to school, earn their education, earn their degree, and not have to worry about paying student loans, paying off debt later at 40, 50 years old while they have kids, families, jobs, all this stress on added stress, and it's very hard for families to keep up with that. But yes, this is my first visual representation. Next we'll be talking about like how getting everyone access to education, how we can do that. So we have to get beyond the financial obstacles. So we have to find a way for college to be paid for without having to pay as much. But like also, it makes sense to pay because the colleges feed off the money, and for the sports and all that. That all makes sense. But I feel like to get an education, it's really unnecessary, especially for the people who are in the lower class and the families. It's harder for them to pay for. And then we'll be talking about reducing student loan obligation. So lowering the requirement for high interest student loans is very. I think it's something that we should work on because this is I feel like people shouldn't have to be paying far in their adulthood for things that they grew up wanting to do for education, to learn how to do the jobs that they're in, but not have to worry about paying what they're making in their jobs to paying what they're making in their jobs, like while they're older. It's very unnecessary. And then we'll be talking about increasing the competitiveness in the economy. So assembling like a diverse workforce and encouraging creativity and output. And this helps with economic development, which makes it easier. And I feel like the prices would definitely go down while like enforcing that. And then I'll be showing my second visual aid. This shows a guy that just graduated from college, and he's basically looking at a price tag while he's on his cap, because he knows that later in the years he has to worry about all this he has to pay for when he's older, when he has his job, with his kids, whatever he has going on. He has to worry about this price tag right when he graduated. So he couldn't graduate free, stress-free. He had to graduate knowing that he had to pay something for getting a degree, which is unacceptable. So the next thing we'll be talking about is a the barriers, the financial barriers. People from lower income families, it's very difficult for them to put their kids in college. They have more things to worry about. They have to worry about keeping their family with food on the table, with light, with water, and it's something that's very hard. And if they can't get their kids to college, they're not. I mean, it's very hard to find a job nowadays without college. It's just something that I feel like that it doesn't make sense, because the people who can't help themselves have to pay this much money, but then it doesn't help them because they couldn't make it to college, and now they're working a job at McDonald's or so and so, and they're having to worry about all this stress, which is added stress, which makes no sense. And this has an impact on a lot of life decisions. Student loan debt is a big thing, like we were saying earlier. It's something that you have to deal with, and it's stressful. My parents had to do it, and they got done maybe a few years ago, but it was something that was talked about a lot because college was expensive. My parents came from Puerto Rico, and they had to learn new things here in the States, and it was harder for them. They had to pay, but that's just how it is. And then for my next visual representation, this is just showing basically the price is just skyrocketing over the years. This is in 2020. I couldn't imagine where we are now. I'm about to be in 2024. And it's going up, but it has just gone up like exponentially. It's insane. But moving towards closer to the end, we'll be talking about, to basically sum it up almost, like the expense of the higher education possesses a variety of issues that go beyond personal circumstances, and not many of us can help ourselves with that. So we need to be able to figure things out to where we don't have to pay as much money for these types of things. And then for my next representation, this is just showing the states that go all the way up for paying for all these, the tuition on how high it goes. Louisiana's the highest. Got schools like Louisiana State University. Tuition stupidly high, which is unnecessary again, but it's what we have going on in the States. But let me sum this up real quick because my time is going quick. But the expense of college, like, it prevents people from accessing education, and it makes things very hard for families. And I feel like we should lower college costs by all means. We should let people enjoy college, get their degree, get their jobs without being in stress. For my last representation, I don't want to take too much time now. This is just a graduate looking at the cost, because he knows after life he has to pay for all this. And it's very stressful, and it's very unnecessary. And it shouldn't be like this at all.